guys, I'm Stephanie,
And I'm Tiffany.
and we are
Sisters of the South.
We are back again with another true crime story today. But before we get started, we'd like to ask that you hit that like button. Also, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell notification so every time Sisters of the South drops a new video, you can come spend some time with us. Also, we would like to give a big shout out to our favorite vendor, SoFly.
So fly,
SoFly!
not so small.
Not no mo.
Yeah.
SoFly is a family-owned company here in the Houston, Texas area, and what they specialize is in embroidery and also in lasering. So what they'll do is take an accessory, such as a cap, a hoodie, a T-shirt. They'll take a tumbler. They can take keychains or carving boards, and they can specialize it to your needs. So we get our merchandise done for them, so we know that you'll be happy. There's no doubt about that. But just so you can see a little bit about what they do, we're going to show you a video. So here we go.
All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed that video. Go check them out. Let them know we sent you. And if you buy something, remember to send us a picture.
Please, we want to see it all. Absolutely. So yeah, we'll drop their information in the description box below. So I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Tiff so she can get started on our story today.
All right, guys. So Alissa Marie Turney was born April 3rd, 1984 in Phoenix, Arizona. Her parents, Barbara and Stephen Stram, divorced when Alissa was 3 years old. Her mother, Barbara, then remarried a man named Michael Turney, who had 3 children from a previous relationship. Michael adopted Alissa and her older brother, John. Shortly after they were married, Michael and Barbara had a child of their own, Sarah. Sadly, when Alissa was 9 and Sarah was 4, Barbara died of lung cancer, leaving Michael to raise the 2 young girls alone, because the older 4 children were grown and living out of the home at the time.
Right.
Alissa was just a typical teenager. She enjoyed hanging out at the mall with her friends and spending time with her boyfriend. She was said to be very social and carefree.
Nice.
How to be a teenager.
Yes.
May 17th, 2001, Alissa was 17, and it was the last day of her junior year at Paradise Valley High School. Alissa stopped by her boyfriend John's workshop class around 11 a.m. that day to tell him that Michael was picking her up early to take her to lunch. At lunch, Michael says their conversation turned into an argument when Alissa said she wanted to be able to stay out later at night with her friends. And he said, I told her that's just not going to happen. You know, as long as you're under my roof, we're going to have to check in with Daddy, because Daddy's a nervous wreck if you don't. Michael told ABC News. He claims they returned home and Alissa stormed off to her bedroom. Michael soon left the house to go pick up Sarah, Alyssa's younger sister, from school. Sarah states that when she got out of school at 3:30, Michael wasn't there to pick her up, so she went to a friend's house to hang out. Once Michael picked her up, he told Sarah that he had tried calling Alissa, but she wasn't answering her phone and asked Sarah to try calling her. Sarah called Alissa, but there was no answer. It was only a 10-minute drive home from Sarah's friend's house. As soon as they arrived, Sarah went into the house to look for Alissa. She went into Alyssa's bedroom and found Alyssa's backpack dumped all over the floor. She heard buzzing on the dresser, which turned out to be Alyssa's cell phone. Next to the phone was a note from Alissa that read, Dad and Sarah, when you dropped me off at school today, I decided that I really am going to California. Sarah, you said you didn't want me around anymore. Look, you got it. I'm gone. That's why I saved my money. Dad, I took $300 from you. Alissa. Now, it's been proven that the note was definitely written by Alissa, but no one is sure it was written the day she went missing.
Okay.
So it is her handwriting, but if she got into an argument with her dad, why would she blame her sister?
Right.
Yeah. So they're not sure if it was that day or a different day that she did it.
Well, also, it almost sounds like she left to go to California from school.
Well, yeah.
Not
Not
from school to home and then left from home. But, it's what it sounds like to me. So, I mean, who knows?
Well, she had also had plans to hang out with friends that night. She was supposed to go to a party.
Yeah.
She wanted to stay out later,
Yes.
which,
And
of course, don't we all want to stay out later?
yeah, and I'm pretty sure that an argument ensued. Okay.
Absolutely.
I have no doubt about
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I'm sure he's telling the truth about that.
Oh, yeah. Which, in his defense, don't you always fight with your teenagers? They're always wanting something.
And staying out later than what, as a parent, you want them to.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I get it. Been there 3 times, done that. It's scary. And they think that it's a conversation of negotiation when they're teenagers. And you're like, look, this is not a negotiation.
No.
This is a flat out no. So it can be rough. I get that. For sure. I understand that part of it for sure.
Well, Alissa had taken only a black backpack with her, leaving her phone, clothes, makeup, and even her brush behind. She also left behind the $1,800 she had in her bank account,
Mm.
which, if you go to California, you need all of that.
Oh, for sure. And then some.
And she's a teenager. Who's going to leave her makeup behind? I
Right.
can't even leave my makeup behind.
And her brush. But
And her
then she
brush.
has a boyfriend. So she's going to leave him behind too?
Yes.
Okay.
So, weeks before Alissa left, Michael had called Alyssa's Aunt Lynette, her mother's sister. He claimed Alissa had started smoking and asked if Alissa could stay with her for the summer. Lynette said yes. But when Lynette said yes, Michael freaked out and changed the plan and said he didn't need her help anymore. Many
Okay.
people believe he didn't think Lynette would say yes since things went sour with Barbara's family after Barbara's death.
Mm.
But why make the phone call?
That's really strange. Oh, no, it ain't strange.
No.
It's not strange. Sounds like he's staging something.
Well, hours later, Michael contacted Phoenix police and told them that Alissa had run away to her aunt's house in California. Since Alissa had left a note, police did not suspect foul play, so they did not file a missing persons report and no investigation took place.
Insane to me.
Well, I do know, and when a teenager runs away, they just, oh, well, she's a runaway,
Yes.
whatever. And in my opinion, when you're a certain age, you can't go out and do certain things and, take care of yourself. Go look for them.
Exactly. I mean, there's so many things at 17 or 16 that you cannot do until you turn 18.
That's
so
right.
at least until 18.
And they do this with 14-year-olds,
Yes.
which is disgusting.
At least until the age of 18, you are responsible for them.
Yes.
Signatures and everything, medical help, all of that.
That's right. After checking with Alyssa's Aunt Lynette, Michael learns Alissa never made it to her home in California. He called police to cover his ass.
Yes.
Because if you think for sure that your daughter has run away to California to live with her aunt that you've already talked to, don't you wait to see if she goes to California?
Right. Oh, and this is all alleged. Our opinion. Just want to make that clear.
I'm just saying that because that's what I would do.
Absolutely. I agree.
I feel like that's just ass covering, but
if you know that she didn't run away and going to her aunt's in California,
you're covering your ass.
And then the kid, you're going to call the cops because you already know what the law is. I'm sure he already knew that. Then he's just relieved. Look, wash my hands. I did what I needed to do as her daddy. So, yeah.
Well, and let's say this, even if he is innocent of everything, he's still covering his ass for something, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want people to think I did something because I was the last one to see her.
Right. And if your child goes
you
missing,
shouldn't feel that way.
No, if your child goes missing, the only thing you care about is bringing them home. Screw what everybody else thinks. You just want them brought home, whatever that means. And you don't worry about what everybody else thinks.
Yeah. Well, about a week after Alissa disappeared, Michael called police to tell them that a call came into the house around 5 a.m. that morning while he was still sleeping. Michael claims it was Alissa and that she was yelling and cursing at him, then eventually hung up the phone. Michael asked police if they could track the phone call, and they told him no.
Hmm.
After this, Michael became his own detective. He posted flyers around town and contacted NCMEC. He sued the phone company for records of that early morning call. The number was traced back to a payphone in Riverside County, California. Unfortunately, there were no further leads for years.
Mm-hmm.
So in 2008, Michael was taken into police custody after they discovered him with 2 guns and a knife collecting his mail.
Wow.
You never know what's going to happen going to that mailbox.
I mean, especially if you ain't of good character. I mean, he probably knew he needed to watch his back for a reason, maybe. That's what it sounds like to me. I mean, allegedly, my opinion.
So this situation allowed police to search Michael's home, where they discovered 30 homemade explosive devices and a large collection of guns.
Wow. Wow. So what was his plan?
Well, in the search, they also found a 98-page manifesto containing a theory about Alyssa's disappearance. It goes on to say that the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers was responsible for Alyssa's disappearance, convinced the union was seeking revenge after he complained about working conditions in the 80s. Michael's plan was to go after the Brotherhood. Well, I've worked for companies, and of course you complain because that's what you do as an employee.
Most employees complain. I mean, usually for legit reasons.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I don't think they would ever kidnap my child.
No.
I don't think they care about me that much.
No, they would just fire you. It's not
Yeah.
like it's not like,
write
he's
you
that
up. I mean, who cares?
how important are you?
What are you doing for this company?
Man, what an ego. Right? Jeez, come on.
Sarah, Alyssa's younger sister, called Michael's theory into question. She says that while his complaint caused him to receive harassing phone calls, there is no evidence they kidnapped and later killed Alissa. She believes that the union is a scapegoat for her father. This only supports her belief that her father knew something about Alyssa's disappearance. Looking around the house, they found various homemade tapes of Alissa, along with a contract she'd signed. A year before she disappeared, she signed a document stating she'd never been mistreated by her father, which Michael later had notarized, which is outrageous to me.
Oh my gosh.
And why is it he's needing this?
That is so abusive. So abusive. I know somebody like that. Yeah, I know somebody like that. And that is so abusive and it's so toxic. A person is not in their right mind under those circumstances, period.
Yeah.
Ugh, just angers me.
So a year before Alyssa's disappearance, when this document had been signed, Michael made a phone call to CPS. He lets them know that if Alissa called claiming he abused her, she was lying.
Oh, well, let's not investigate that situation. God, this dude.
Well, Alissa had told her boyfriend and some friends that her father had assaulted her when she was younger, and that one day he picked her up from school and took her to a remote location to assault her. She had also told a teacher, but nothing was ever reported. What's wrong with these teachers?
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah. Michael had installed cameras all throughout the home, even hid them in Alyssa's bedroom air vents. Michael even showed Sarah a video of Alissa making out with her boyfriend on the couch. He recorded all of the phone calls coming into the home. He would even show up at Alyssa's job at Jack in the Box to record and watch her from his car. There were times he would go into the restaurant just to sit and stare at her. It was as if he was a controlling boyfriend she couldn't escape.
That is so creepy.
That's disgusting.
It's disgusting. It's creepy.
It's disgusting and creepy from a boyfriend.
Yes. Oh,
But a
that's
dad?
instantly a red flag if your boyfriend's doing it. But the sad part is if your dad's doing it and you've already told friends, you told a teacher, and nobody wants to step up to help. That's the saddest part of this. No one cared enough to do something.
Yeah.
And Alissa was asking for help.
She was, or she wouldn't
Yeah.
have been going to these people.
Yeah, she was willing to put her neck out on the line.
I feel like she didn't know the right places to go.
Well, I mean,
She was trying.
I would think a teacher would be the
That's what they're
perfect
there
person.
for, really. They're
Yes.
supposed to catch those
I
things,
mean, she did the right, smart thing.
Well, of course, Michael denies all accusations about assault and explains that Alissa was a wild child and he wanted to keep an eye on her to make sure she was okay and not out partying. Okay, I'm going to
Please.
make that this is 1000% my opinion because I know people that this is happening to. But my 100% opinion is, and I know you have cameras in your house, but it's because your husband had a stroke and you want to make sure he's okay because you're at work.
Yes.
That makes sense to me.
Yes.
If my husband put cameras in my house, yeah, I don't think so. We're not going to watch every move people are making. If I want to make sure my daughter gets in the door, that's one thing.
Yes.
Not to see what the hell I'm doing throughout the day. That is creepy as shit.
Well, no, because you're normal. You don't have any health concerns. Your daughters aren't at home by themselves. So there's situations, right? And we're talking about early 2000s. Not very many people had a camera outside, much less inside the house.
But even nowadays, and I know, I'm sorry, some of you are like, no, I have cameras. I'm not accusing you of anything or saying, I just don't like it.
Right.
And I know people that have cameras in their homes.
Yes.
I've still told them, dude, I think that's crazy.
And it's very odd. To be honest with you, I never even considered having a camera at my home at all until this happened to my husband. And now that things have kind of mellowed out, I don't get on them as often, but I always feel like I am intruding even when I watch.
Yes.
But I do it out of love and concern because if he falls, I'm an hour away. I got to get to him or I've got to get assistance to him. That's why I do that. But this guy, first of all, the thing was he couldn't be there in person to sit there and watch her all the time like he was doing at Jack in the Box. So he was just making sure every move she made, he was privy to it.
But he's videoing it.
That's
you know what I'm
so
saying?
weird.
It's not like I'm just checking in.
Yes.
He's literally videoing it.
Yes. And how awkward is that for a young girl to be at a job trying to learn some independence, trying to feel like her own person, and her dad is intruding and sitting in the area with the eating area? That's crazy to me.
Well, and there are videos online that you can find, and there's one where she comes out and was like, Dad, you're getting me in trouble with my boss.
Yes.
And you have to think about those things. You can't do that. When my child gets a job, I want to go mess with her, but I can't because I don't want to get her in trouble.
When you don't want to embarrass them too bad.
And you don't want to embarrass them too much.
You want it to be a good experience.
But you kind of want to see that. There's one thing if you just like, oh my gosh, my kid's working. I just got to see this.
Yeah, well,
because they don't work at home.
Yes. That is very true. And how do they interact with others? But this is the thing.
But that's not what he's doing.
No. And that would make any normal teenager or hell-raising teenager want to run away from home.
Absolutely. It makes me want to run.
It would make me want to pack my bags and go too. But she had gone this long. She was probably just waiting to turn 18, graduate, and get out of the house.
Well, and that was her dream, was to go to California.
Yeah.
So she was waiting for that.
Right.
Saving her money, which I think was very responsible of her. She was working, trying to save money,
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so allegedly, a nephew of Michael's came to stay with them for a while. He was up late one night and decided to watch a video, but he found one labeled Dr. Doolittle and popped it in to watch, but it was not Dr. Doolittle.
Mm-hmm.
It was a video of two young women lying on the floor and the couch wearing nothing but shorts. Their faces were covered with newspapers. So his nephew wasn't sure if this was Alissa, but it looked like her.
Mm.
He was so upset about the video that he packed his things and left the home.
Oh, wow.
And then Michael claims there is no such video and that he had to kick his nephew out of the home because he was a drunk. But even in that case, aren't you uncomfortable and you want to say something to someone?
Right.
You know, like, oh my God, is this really happening?
Yes.
Uh,
That would bother me too.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you don't want to be in that house, but
No.
so police questioned Michael about the videos and recording. It could at least show what Alissa was wearing at the time of her disappearance, right? Michael explained to them that he had deleted the videos and phone recordings because there was nothing of interest on them. Uh-huh. So police became really suspicious when he told them that the phone recorder just happened to not work the morning Alissa made that 5 a.m. call to him.
Okay.
And then Michael refused a polygraph.
Okay.
So everyone started to wonder if Michael would benefit from Alissa disappearing.
Mm-hmm.
For years, the family defended Michael and his innocence, but as time went on, they grew suspicious. When Sarah heard of how her sister had been treated, many years after Alissa went missing, she shut down the website that defended her father and instead started questioning his involvement. So she had no idea this whole time this was happening to her sister.
Right.
She didn't even know that the cameras were in the room until she moved into that room.
Oh, wow. And the
And
thing
then
is, she's getting
he's like,
treated
oh, I
different.
can take this camera down. She was always treated differently.
Yes.
And she's like, what cameras?
Oh my
Yeah, it's
gosh.
heartbreaking.
Mhm.
So with the constant policing and hours-long gap between Alissa being picked up and Sarah arriving home, things began to appear a lot more sinister to Sarah, which I have to say, he's saying that he left the home, went over to pick Sarah up. Oh, I'm just so worried about Alissa, but it was a 10-minute drive home. Why are you having her call?
Yes.
And that I feel like that's another cover my ass in a way, you know?
Yes.
No matter what happened, you're trying to cover your ass for something.
Oh, absolutely.
So when Sarah searched the house, she discovered a map with coordinates written on it that pointed to an isolated area of California in the desert. Sarah turned it into the police, but they never investigated it.
What the hell?
Yeah. Though bones were found in the area by a hiker, no one could determine if the bones were connected to Alissa's disappearance. I'm not sure
How?
why or how,
Yeah.
but that's all they say. So with police no longer involved and all requests being denied in the search for Alissa, Sarah decided to develop an online presence, using various media platforms to raise awareness about her sister's disappearance. This led to thousands upon thousands of signatures supporting her search, which I
Good
think is
deal.
amazing.
Good job, girl. Good job, Sarah.
Yeah,
You
I
did a good
follow
job.
her. I think
Yes, I do too.
she's doing amazing. I feel for her. My heart hurts for her.
Absolutely, I do too.
So Sarah has appeared on many true crime podcasts and even has one of her own in a bid to encourage police to reinvestigate Alissa's case. She believes her father was involved in Alissa's disappearance and hopes that if there is enough attention on the case, she may finally be able to find her sister. Sarah offered to pay for an investigation of the area she believes Alissa may be, but was denied. Some agencies still consider Alissa a runaway.
Oh my gosh, please. That has to stop.
Yeah.
Absolutely needs to stop.
Though Michael served time for his plans to kill or otherwise injure the people of the Brotherhood Union, he is now a free man.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's a heartbreaking story. I feel for her sister. I even feel for her aunt. I mean, she was probably excited she was going to come spend the summer with her.
Yeah.
You know, and now she's missing and she never got to see her.
Was probably the only thing she had left of her deceased sister.
Yeah.
Right? And now she's gone. And then she gets thrown in this situation where she's getting questioned and she doesn't know anything. It's just heartbreaking all around. You know, I've seen Michael Turney's videos on YouTube and they're insane. at this point, you're free. Sit down and shut up. That's my opinion.
Oh,
And
I agree.
that's all I'm going to say about that.
I
So,
do have to say, when the evidence turns your daughter against you, maybe there is something to that.
absolutely.
But that's
Agreed.
my opinion.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, guys, what do you think? I know what I think.
I know what I think.
Um, yeah, it's probably pretty obvious.
It was a hard story to do. I was kind of dreading it,
Hmm.
but
Yeah, it's
I feel
sad.
like more and more people need to talk about it. Her sister's trying to get so much done, and the more people talk about it, the more it's out there and something can happen.
Well, I'm going to drive this home. I think that Sarah is a victim in all of this,
Yes,
just as much as Alissa was. And we do not need to let abusers silence the abuse that's been endured.
that's right.
And so the victims, and I say that lightly because victims or survivors do not need to hold any shame at all. So let's talk about it. Let's get it out there. If it offends the person who did it, so be it. The problem is people worry about other people's feelings even when they're guilty. And I think that's wrong. I think we need to stand up with no shame and be victors instead of victims, and put these people behind bars and with no shame and no apologies. And Sarah, I think you're doing a kick-ass job, man. Keep doing it. I get real emotional and teary-eyed every time I see you come on.
Yeah.
And I just want to hug your neck because having the kind of father that you do, that's heartbreaking.
I'm sorry that you have to feel that way about your father.
Yes. Yeah. I'm sorry that, yeah, our hearts go out to you. But keep doing what you do. You have a lot of supporters, and eventually, I'm sure one day Alissa will be found, and we will keep praying for that. So, yeah.
All right, guys, let us know what you think. Leave some comments. And until our next episode, please
Please
remember
remember to
to see
see
the
the
good
good
and
and
stay
stay
imperfectly
imperfectly perfect.
perfect. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank
Thank
you.
you.